Good Monday morning. Quite a few years ago, right after my divorce actually, so almost 11 years ago, I was at a dinner one night with my Nashville bonus mom, Packer Wilson, and it was a night I met another precious woman of God, Ann Plotz, and that evening there was a precious older gentleman named Dr. Albert Lemons, and he had so much wisdom. And just being in his presence was such a gift. And I had been praying and asking the Lord to bring a mentor into my path. And I knew that night that I could not let this man get away. And I asked him if he was willing to mentor me, and I honestly don't think he thought I would call him, but I did. And for years, every Tuesday, I went to his house, and then after Philly and I married, and so many weeknights were taken up with school activities, it hasn't been as regular since, but for those first couple years, it was every week. And I have learned in life that remaining teachable and taking advantage of the people smarter than myself that God brings into my path is one of the greatest gifts I can give my heart. And the Proverbs talks about that, the wisdom and counsel and words of wise people. And I'm going to look at a few passages in chapter 13, and then we're going to talk about this more next week. But chapter 13, verse 10 says this, by insolence comes nothing but strife, but with those who take advice is wisdom. If we do not have a teachable spirit, then I would dare say we cannot grow in the fruit of the Spirit. Jesus is the wise teacher. The Holy Spirit is the counselor. And so Jesus said that he came to lead us, and the Holy Spirit comes to lead us into all truth, basically to teach us all truth. So when you and I resist advice, when we resist counsel, we are putting ourselves in a very dangerous position and place. And I dare say we need to take real stock of our heart and where we are in regards to our relationship with the Lord. Then it goes on to say in verse 14, it says, the teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. Oh my goodness. That is why it is so important for us to have wise counselors in our life, because they're fountains of life. When I sit with Ken Edwards and he speaks truth and life into me, it is like a fountain of life. When I sit with Dr. Albert Lemons, it is a fountain of life. And when I sit with other godly women who God's put into my life, with Packer Wilson and Joan Everest, and I receive their counsel and advice, oftentimes it leads me from a snare. It prevents me from getting into a trap of the enemy. That's why isolation is such a demonic assault on our hearts. It's such a lie of the enemy. Because when he gets us in isolation, the only voice we're hearing is his and ours. And you want to talk about a dangerous place to be when you're left with nothing but his voice and your voice? I don't want to be left with nothing but his voice and my voice. I know me. I know my counsel, my fleshly counsel. I need the counselor of wise people who love the Lord. And then verse 20 says it this way. It says, whoever walks with the wise will become wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. So not only are there words of fountain of life, but on top of that, when I hang out with wise people, I'm going to get smarter. And I need that. I need more smartness. It's not even a word, but I need it. I need more wisdom. I need more truth in my life. And I need speakers of truth in it. So I want you to ask yourself this question today. Do you resist counsel? Do you try to go it alone? Do you think that your counsel is enough? Friend, it's not. It's a dangerous place to be. And then secondly, I'd ask myself, who are the wise people that I can start having coffee with and hanging out with and sitting at their dinner table and inviting them over to mine? Or just following them around? These are powerful truths. And we need wise people who are speaking them into us. Why? Because it is a fountain of life and keeps our feet from a snare. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be caught in any snare. So, bring on the counsel. Bring on the wise men. Thank God in heaven for Dr. Albert Lemons.